from Crafty Kendra, and today I'm going to show you how to make this scrapbooking page. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is bring in our scrapbooking base, which is a 6" by 6" piece of very vanilla cardstock. Then we're going to bring in our wonderfully worn background stamp in our early espresso ink, and we're just going to ink up our background stamp. Now this background stamp isn't big enough to cover the whole scrapbooking page, but as you can see, I did cover the whole entire scrapbooking page on my sample. So all you do is you take your scrapbooking page and you line it up so that most of it is covered on the stamp. And you rub. Whenever you lift, you're going to have just part of your page covered. And then what you're going to do is just re-ink your stamp. Bring your page back in. And lining it up as best you can, you're just going to press down again. And it's okay if it overlaps, because since it is this wonderfully worn, it's going to look speckled anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. And then all you do is you do it again to the other side. And there you go, you just get it covered. So you just keep stamping it until you get it nice and covered. You can set that stamp aside. Now that our scrapbooking base looks like that, we're going to bring in our layers. Our first layer is a piece of early espresso, and this piece measures 1" by 5 3/4 inch. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere a piece of Nautical Expedition Designer Series paper to it, and it measures 1½ inches by 5½ inches. What we're going to do is we're going to flip it over and attach just one line of snail to one of the 5½ inch sides. Then we're going to center it onto our piece of early espresso so that it's adhered to the left side of that paper. Then we're going to bring in our photo mat, and our photo mat measures 4½ by 3½ inches. And along one of the 4½ inch sides, we're going to put one strip of snail. And what we're going to do is we're going to place these onto our card base so that we can get an idea of where we want it to end up. Okay, then adhere it down. Flip it over and attach snail to the whole entire back of these 3 pieces. And adhere it down to our scrapbooking page. Next thing we're going to do is bring in some of the new dotted scallop ribbon, and we're going to cut about 7 inches off. And then we're going to bring in our mini glue dots, and we're actually going to put the glue dots on the edge, and we're going to put it on the side that has the dots because I want the side without dots to show. What you're going to do is you're just going to pull it over here to the left of our Photomat Designer Series paper. Flip one edge over the side of our scrapbooking base, and then pulling the ribbon taut and making sure that it is centered. I'm going to put the other side over. Using your paper piercer or the tip of your scissors, you're just going to place an extra mini glue dot under the center to keep it flat. Next thing you're going to do is bring in another piece of very vanilla cardstock, and this piece measures 1½ by 2½ inches, and it's just large enough to fit the Remember When stamp from the Wordplay stamp set. And I've already gone ahead and stamped the Remember When in Cherry Cobbler ink so that it looks like this. What we're going to do is we're going to take our ticket corner punch and punch each of the corners. And after we're done doing that, we're going to flip it over and attach snail across the back and layer it onto a piece of crumb cake cardstock that measures 2.5 by 1.5 inches. So it's the exact same size as this piece of Very Vanilla before we punched it. And because of that, we're going to get just the corners where we punched the ticket corner to be showing a different style. Next thing we're going to do is, since this has so many layers right here, we're actually going to use mini glue dots, one in each of these corners, to adhere this down. And just going to put it at an angle right there. Okay, and this is a great scrapbook page for remembering a family vacation or a loved one that's passed. And in case your picture is at a different orientation, I've gone ahead and prepared another scrapbooking page. I've already stamped the background like we did before, and I've placed down my ribbon. And here I have our photo mat. Our photo mat is still 4.5 by 3.5 inches, but our layers measure, the Early Expression piece measures 4 3/4 by 1 inch, and our Designer Series paper measures 4.5 inches by 1.5 inches. We're just going to go ahead and attach snail on the back of it, and we're going to place it down onto our scrapbooking base. Just like that. I've already gone ahead and made another Remember When. We're going to put it just like we did the other one, up at an angle on our top corner. So if you did have a photo that went in a different orientation, landscape versus portrait, that's how you would make this scrapbook page. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.